Metaphysics and Politics, a philosophical exploration of ideological foundations, Part 4, the pivot to neutral rationalism, secular liberalism as the spectrum's centrist fulcrum. With traditional liberalism illustrating a moderated incorporation of metaphysical ethics, drawing from historical traditions to underpin limited government and individual liberties, as exemplified in the U.S. Constitution's reliance on moral self-regulation, we now advance along the spectrum to ideologies that further attenuate transcendent commitments in favor of empirical neutrality. This transition logically arises from the Enlightenment's emphasis on reason over revelation, where revolutions against monarchical and theocratic absolutism not only decentralized power, but also secularized it, prioritizing universal human faculties as the basis for governance. Objectively, such shifts reflect a rational adaptation to increasing societal diversity and scientific progress. As metaphysical unanimity waned in pluralistic contexts, political systems evolved to accommodate varied beliefs without privileging any, ensuring stability through consensual institutions rather than inherited hierarchies. The aftermath of the French Revolution, for instance, saw the rise of secular republics that balanced liberty with equality, influencing global models where reason supplants divine mandate as the arbiter of justice. Positioned as the centrist pivot in our metaphysical spectrum, secular liberalism embodies this neutral stance, emphasizing individual rights, rational governance, and market-driven economies while deliberately bracketing transcendent questions from public policy. Metaphysically, it is grounded in empiricism and humanism, drawing from Enlightenment rationalism to view reality as accessible through science, dialogue, and observable evidence, without mandating religious or spiritual frameworks. Logically, this foundation assumes that truth and ethics can be derived from shared human reason, treating metaphysical claims as private matters to foster tolerance. Rationally, this neutrality addresses the limitations of traditional liberalism's ethical traditions. By privatizing religion, it prevents sectarian conflicts, positing that a secular framework better accommodates diverse worldviews in modern societies, though it risks deriving moral universals solely from consensus, potentially leading to relativism if reason alone proves insufficient for absolute values. Socially and politically, secular liberalism organizes society around representative democracy, the rule of law, and regulated free markets, with institutions designed to protect minorities and promote opportunity through pluralism. Governance features elections, checks and balances, and welfare provisions for social mobility, but without extensive collectivization or hierarchical impositions. Individuals enjoy rights to free speech, assembly, and property, enforced by neutral courts and parliaments, while economic activity emphasizes meritocracy and innovation, with safety nets to mitigate inequalities. Logically, this structure assumes that rational self-interest, mediated by institutions, generates progress and harmony. It rationally balances liberty with equity by using empirical data to refine systems, though this depends on participants' commitment to procedural fairness over substantive metaphysical ends. Distinguishing secular liberalism from adjacent ideologies highlights its equilibrium. Versus traditional liberalism, it eschews overt metaphysical anchors like Judeo-Christian ethics, relying instead on neutral reason to ground rights, which allows greater progressivism but may dilute moral cohesion. Compared to democratic socialism on the materialist side, it permits market inequalities as incentives for growth, resisting state-led redistribution that could infringe on individual autonomy. On the far right, it rejects theocratic or fascist transcendence, viewing such integrations as threats to pluralism. Rationally, its neutrality promotes inclusivity, though critics argue it fosters cultural fragmentation by lacking a unifying higher purpose. Secular liberalism's strengths include its adaptability and promotion of innovation, as empirical rationalism enables evidence-based reforms in diverse societies, evidenced by its dominance in Western democracies. Logically, it mitigates theocratic risks of dogma by emphasizing tolerance, yet this same neutrality may encounter challenges in addressing profound existential needs, potentially leading to atomization or vulnerability to extremist ideologies if metaphysical voids persist. This centrist position thus serves as a rational bridge, illuminating how the spectrum's metaphysical gradient influences governance from transcendent hierarchies to materialist critiques as we proceed to the leftward evolutions.